The Associated Press is now calling this race Trump wins the New Hampshire Republican Party. They called it, Joe, at 8:01.
Yeah, not a huge shocker. We certainly had folks expecting an 8:01 call. The AP agreed to wait for all the polls to be closed, but they've been counting votes for an hour now from polls that closed at 7 p.m. here, Kailey, Leinz, and we can make that clear now. The Associated Press has already called the primary for Donald Trump. It brings us to some of the same questions we were already asking, though, Kailey. While this is a huge headline, certainly for the Trump campaign, what is turnout going to end up looking like? It looks pretty darn massive from what we've been hearing so far today, which could play well for Nikki Haley. And then to that end, what is she going to look like in the so-called strong second that Chris Sununu described to us right here? Yeah,
that's absolutely right. The margin is critical here, and the margin is what we do not know at this point. Right. According to the Associated Press, only 17% of votes have been counted at this point. Trump has 54% of them. Nikki Haley, 45%. That is a 9-point spread, but we have a lot of votes that still need to be counted, and it may actually be that margin at the end of the day that decides the trajectory of the Haley campaign moving forward. If she decides to actually, as she said she would leading up to today, take this to her home state of South Carolina in just 4 weeks.
And she's got some time, to your point, before that contest. It's interesting. We're going to be watching areas like the town we're in, Manchester, this evening to see how that plays for Nikki Haley. Some of the more affluent communities along the seacoast are going to play into this. And as we start to count votes in the more conservative, essentially Boston border towns along or suburbs, rather, along the border, this could take shape in some different ways tonight.